Hello and welcome back to Oba's Trending Gist. The story that has everyone in Nigeria talking right now is the Ibom Air incident involving passenger Comfort MSN. Initially, public opinion was strongly on one side, but as new details emerge, the narrative is shifting. The Nigerian Senate and the Nigerian Bar Association have now weighed in, turning this into a major national conversation about passenger rights and airline conduct. We are going to break it all down for you. First, let us watch the initial part of the Arise News report that set the stage for this controversy. So sit back and take a watch.
Well, Rufai, the story has certainly grown legs and it's turned into a much bigger conversation.
It's a much bigger conversation, and the paradigm is quickly turning because people are asking questions. Who in that video, was it an air hostess that ripped the lady's shirt off that made us see her body parts? Who in that video? You know, because I'm very privy to how these things done. People can quickly shoot a side of the video to show you what transpired. But the question we keep asking is, what happened? Because action and reaction are equal and opposites. You might say everything about the lady, we condemn her as regards how she reacted, but she wouldn't just have reacted if something had not triggered the actions. And that's why when the NCA is saying that people that were in the plane should come out, but you have a manifest of those on the plane now. So I was wondering why were you saying that they should come out? Because you, the NCA, that is now saying for proper investigation, but you are taking sides. The airline operators are quickly banned her without even reviewing what transpired. It was just one side of the video. Anyway, that will be challenged in courts. So we need to look at all sides and investigate. And I'm happy the NBA say they're going to look at it. I hear the woman will be still in jail till about the 6th of October. I don't know what's going on as regards that. Maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, which is very bad. I think for this, bail should have also sufficed. Because the woman now is the victim in all of this. And thank God for the lack of introspection. The woman now is the victim. She's pulled down and everything. Ibom was quick to release a report. She was charged to court while nothing happened. And thank God for the public outcry. And that's why I see, please, Nigerians, sometimes it looks like your voice are not heard, but your voices are being heard. If not for the public outcry now, all of a sudden now, the IG is saying they want to now start investigating Wasu's case. For over a week, did they do anything? But thank you. That's why I say, see, democracy dies in silence. When you keep quiet, democracy will die. When you say, let's be decorous, let's not say anything, they will not do anything. You should be on record that your voices are heard. And I have a message to my big Egbon Jimmy Disu this morning. I was listening to your show while I was driving to work. And you were saying you are tired because you know all these corruption cases, will report them will not be investigated. Egbon, don't be tired. It's because people like you and I and Reuben and Dr. Abati and everybody is talking. That's why these people that still perpetrate these actions have small fear. Because they know sunlight is the best detergent. When you shine the sunlight on them, they know everything is revealed. So please, my charge for you this morning, Egbon Jimmy Disu, is don't stop talking. And for the Senate that say they want to investigate airline, Abode Moka, where is the report of their investigation when on Shomole's case happened? Abode Moka Senate, we have seen the return from Mecca. Where is the investigation? As regards EFCC, see, EFCC cannot remove the toga that they are politically slanted. Let's not deceive ourselves. Me, Rufai Oseni, I've spoken for EFCC many times. When they went after Yayabe, I spoke for them. I fought with EFCC and I will fight with EFCC because I feel corruption and I know corruption should be exposed in this country. But the question I have for EFCC is this. Where is the results of the investigation into the former humanitarian minister? Till today, we have not heard anything. And you want me to believe that everything is fair. Release the report of that investigation. Let's even see if the woman is exonerated or not. And you want me to believe. All of a sudden, David Mark, Emeka Ehedioha, Tambawa, I'm not saying if they are corrupt, they should not be found out. But the question is, when did you get this file on David Mark or Tambawa and all these people? Why is that you waited till they started their ADC activity? That's why it looks suspicious. And from Intel, I hear more of them will still be, I hear more investigations are still on. They are still reading things connected to these people. So why is it that it is now that when ADC started that we are seeing all of this? Why? At least David Mark has been out of power for how many years now? If you had all of this, if you have prosecuted David Mark months before the ADC started, I would be the one to support you. But it's looking like they say in Nigerian parlance, one kind. It doesn't mean when you're not on your right, I will fight with you, I will support you, which the EFCC is also aware. And they have noted the fight I also fought. But on this, I'm taking the fight to them. It's hard for them to prove that it's not political. They should prove it by releasing the investigation in what transpired in the former interior ministry and some other cases that are pending and allegations people have made to them so that we see it for ourselves. I'm not surprised if Mr. Soludo wants to support anybody. I'm not surprised when anybody has a right to support anybody. But it is the people that will determine. Mr. Soludo didn't support Peter Obi in elections in, what's it called, in Anambra. He's still won overwhelmingly in Anambra. So he can support anybody he wants to support. That's just my own.
So, as you have just watched, the report immediately frames this as a significant national issue. The Senate's decision to launch a full-scale investigation elevates this beyond a simple passenger dispute. Senator Buhari Abdul Fattah's statement that the committee was alarmed by the frequency of this incident tells us that this is not an isolated event, but a symptom of a larger problem in the aviation sector. Adding to the gravity is the strong position taken by the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) by condemning the treatment of Mrs. Emerson as reckless and a violation of human dignity. The NBA brings a powerful legal and human rights perspective to the forefront. Their promise to defend her freely in court sends a clear message that this will be legally challenged. So, from the outset, the narrative presented is one of the institutional failure and the citizens' right being trampled upon, which naturally galvanized public sympathy for the passenger. Now, let us watch the second part of the clip, where the on-air commentators Rufai Oseni and Dr. Abati begin their analysis. So pay close attention to how they introduce complexity and nuance to the story. So sit back and take a watch.
Okay, let's start with EFCC. I've tried again and again on this table to explain the EFCC mandate, the powers of the EFCC under the Enabling Act of 2014 to investigate, to seize, to indict people, to prosecute people, and all of that. What Mr. Olaolukoyede is saying, basically, is that it is acting within its mandate. And everyone should just know the point that he made, that, look, EFCC is running a non-partisan mandate, which means that, whether you are in APC or you are in ADC or you are in SDP or in PDP, the agency has the powers under its Enabling Act to call anybody to question, to investigate, and to follow through on the basis of the findings of those investigations. Now, he also made a point that there is no statute of limitation on criminal charges. In other words, how do you differentiate between old cases and fresh cases? If a man was governor 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, and then the EFCC now is revisiting the case, the defense of the EFCC chairman is that, okay, maybe they've been carrying out investigations all these years, and when the investigation ripens, then they can still move against the person. However, the caveat to that, the other way to look at it, the footnote, to be specific, is that this is a political season. The timing. This is a time when people are moving from one wing of the political system to the other. Why should it be at that time that you now have high-profile persons like Senator Tambuwal and former Governor Ihedioha, who are the ones being invited? And this is not new, in my view. Under President Obasanjo, under every other president, there were these assumptions that the EFCC was being used as a political tool to harass, to intimidate people who were not in the good books of the government. And in fact, it reached its height. This abuse of public institutions, either the ICPC or the EFCC, reached its height under the Muhammadu Buhari administration, which was a very vindictive administration, trying to settle scores with people without necessarily looking at the issue. So the message to Mr. Olukoyede and the EFCC is that the expectation of Nigerians is that the EFCC will be fair, that the EFCC will not allow itself to be used for partisan purposes, as he himself has affirmed. And as they say, people will always react to what they see. So the onus is on the EFCC to continue to show this non-partiality that Mr. Olukoyede talks about, and to separate the operations of these institutions from politics. And President Tinubu, at the end of the day, is the one who has that ultimate responsibility to ensure that anti-corruption agencies are not used for political purposes. I don't think this is the last time Mr. Olukoyede will have to explain to the public. He will have to keep providing justification to say, look, there's no limitation of time. There is also no partisanship involved. That takes care of that. As for Governor Soludo and Senator Aliyu Wadada, Senator Aliyu Wadada represents Nasarawa West. He used, on the platform of the SDP, he used to be a member of the All Progressives Congress. Now, he says he's supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Governor Soludo of Anambra State says he has no apologies for supporting President Jonathan, President Tinubu, whom he has known personally for 22 years. And that he thinks that is the person who should remain in the saddle of government to move this country forward. Well, both Senator Wadada and Governor Soludo, they have rights under the Constitution to make their own choices. However, the way that I would look at it is to say that both gentlemen are expressing what is called political wisdom. Governor Soludo, for example, is in Anambra State. He's a potential presidential candidate from the Southeast. So both now and in the future, he has to make wise choices. And I think that what he has done in this case is to take a wise decision. Senator Wadada has seen the direction in which the train is moving. He too is trying to be wise and protect himself. After all, in life, as in politics, the first rule of the game is self-preservation. Beyond self-preservation, you also worry about your own future and your own calculations. So I think what is being played out here is political wisdom at a personal level. You may disagree with it, but you cannot question the right of the individuals to make their choice. Finally, the Senate saying that it's going to exercise oversight functions, responsibility over issues that have been happening in the aviation sector. It is perfectly within the right of the Senate to do so, to ask questions, because there are many gray areas in the matter involving Quam 1 and in the matter involving Quam 2, and also the role of the institutions. Yesterday, Michael Achimugo was said to have been on television, and he was saying that there is a subtle difference between the Quam 1 case and the Quam 2 case. Quam 2 case now is referring to Comfort Emerson in the Ibom Air incident. And he was saying that, well, the airline involved in the Quam 1 case did not decide to press matters, did not decide to go to court. But that in the Ibom Air case, you know, the airline acted differently, and also that the AON, Airline Operators Organization of Nigeria, also decided to press the matter. The rub of it, the long and short of it, is a point being made by the Nigerian Bar Association, Alpha Mosigwe, SAN, leading that team, saying the same points that I made yesterday. That one, Ms. Comfort Emerson was dehumanized, she was tortured. Her privacy was exposed unduly. She has the right to privacy, she has the right to movement under Section 41, she has the right to the dignity of the human person, she has the right to fair hearing under Sections 35 and 36 of the Constitution of Nigeria. All of these rights were routinely violated. However, what we expect is that the NBA will offer pro bono services to defend our rights. There are already some agencies, some NGOs saying we will defend her pro bono because she has human rights. And that there are details in this matter that have not been properly addressed in terms of how government has tried to be selective in terms of the administration of justice. However, the residual lesson that everyone must learn is that when you are a passenger, you are traveling, you are as a citizen. You have rights, but you also have responsibility. And the primary responsibility here is to respect the rules of the land and to respect the rules governing the operations so that you do not jeopardize the security of other passengers, whether you are Quam 1 or you are Quam 2.
So this is where the story pivots. Rufai Oseni immediately challenges the viewers to look beyond the viral footage by asking what happened before and stating actions and reactions are equal and opposite. He introduces a critical element of doubt and pushes for a more complete understanding of the events that led to the confrontation. Dr. Reuben Abati then provides a crucial balance. He reinforces the seriousness of the airline's action, describing Ms. Emerson as having been dehumanized, tortured, and her privacy exposed. This underscores that regardless of the preceding events, the response may have been disproportionate and violated her fundamental rights. However, Dr. Abati also broadened the scope to introduce the responsibility of all passengers. He emphasizes the need to respect the rules and authority of the cabin crew, pointing out that an aircraft is a sensitive environment where safety and everyone on board is paramount. Together, their analysis shifts the debate from a simple case of right versus wrong to a more complex examination of shared responsibility, institutional protocol, and the line between maintaining order and violating a citizen's right. Now, for my take, What we are witnessing is a fascinating and important evolution of a new story in the digital age. The initial viral clip created a firestorm, and justifiably so. The sight of a passenger being forcibly removed is distressing and speaks to a powerful imbalance between large corporations and individuals. However, I find Rufai Oseni's shift in perspective particularly telling. While he now currently calls for a balanced view and questions the NCAA for taking sides, we must acknowledge that in the initial heat of the environment, many in the media and the public, including Rufai in his early commentary, even me also, I'm not exempted, we all were guilty of taking side. We all took side initially. Let's continue. Also rushed to judgment based on the limited evidence available. I'm pointing this out not to criticize him, but to highlight how easy it is for all of us to get swept up in a narrative. He is now playing innocent, but we all took a side initially. It is a learning moment for everyone. The real issue here is twofold. The first incident itself is a microcosm of the frustration many Nigerians feel with customer service and institutional authority. The airline's response, as highlighted by Dr. Abati, raises serious human rights questions. Even if a passenger is disruptive, there must be a professional and human protocol for de-escalation and removal that doesn't involve what appears to be a physical struggle and public humiliation. The MBA's involvement is critical here, ensuring that Ms. Emerson's rights are not forgotten in the rush to assign blame. Secondly, this incident forces us to confront our own responsibility as passengers. Dr. Abati's point cannot be overlooked. Air travel operates under strict international safety regulations. The instructions of the captain and the cabin crew are not mere suggestions. They are commands designed to ensure the safety of every single person on that plane. Refusing to comply with crew instructions for any reason can and does have serious consequences. So, while the Senate's investigation is a welcome step towards accountability, the ultimate lesson lies with all stakeholders. Airlines must invest in better training for their staff on conflict resolution and de-escalation. Regulators like NCAA must ensure that clear, enforceable standards for passengers treatments are in place. And we, the public, must remember that our rights as passengers come with responsibility to act in a manner that does not endanger the collective safety of a flight. This story is no longer about one video. It is about rebuilding trust and ensuring dignity and safety in Nigerian skies. That's all the time we have for now on Oba's Trending Gist. What are your thoughts on the Ibom Air situation? Has your opinion changed as more details have emerged, like mine? Let me know your comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more trending topics. Thanks for watching.